And welcome back to another episode of the Big Knick Energy podcast. I'm your host, the bald kid wonder, Joe Yoke. We got Megamind, the man that makes it all happen from Howard Beach, Angelo. Also another bald kid wonder. Been behind the scenes with all the edits. I think he might be a little hungover. Oh my God! And our very, very special guest. America knows him from doing the most recaps from his car than anyone else that's in sports fandom history. Danny, another bald man B. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good. How about you guys? How you doing tonight?
Doing fantastic. From one bald man to another. I love to see it. I was telling Ben we should only get bald hosts. We should only get bald guests from now on.
We got to stick together. You know what I mean?
Just so everyone knows, follow Danny B on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You on TikTok as well?
No, I'm not. I was actually going to talk to the wife about that. I got to get there, huh?
You should. It's for children, but I mean, children are Knicks fans too, right?
Absolutely, man. Audience, anybody, man. You know.
Hell yeah! Just get the voice out there and let our opinions be heard. First and foremost, Definitely. Though, for all of our listeners, we are doing a New York Knicks game ticket giveaway. We are currently over 50 subscribers on YouTube. We need to get to 100 subscribers. Like and subscribe on our YouTube page. Comment on this podcast specifically, the one that's gonna have Danny B in the title. Once we get 100 subscribers, the more you comment on YouTube, the better your chances are of winning. Also, like and subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And Danny B, are you ready for the first topic? Because it's going to be one that we're most passionate about.
Let's do it. I'm with it. Hit me. What do you
Rowan
got?
Alexander Barrett is not on the 25 under 25 list, man. And Knicks Nation, Knicks Tape, Knicks Mafia is going haywire about it. What's your opinion on have you seen the list?
I definitely have. It's some of the names that are on there over RJ are just crazy. The one that obviously comes to mind that everybody's talking about because we just played him recently, Anthony Edwards. But I look at the list and I just move on. I don't put much weight to it whatsoever. We know what he brings night in, night out. You know what I mean? He's been averaging 18 points a game pretty much this season. I'm sure next season he's going to take the next step, probably do, I would love if he got up to 22 points. But just the disrespect is unreal. He doesn't get recognized anywhere. And what I love most about him, and I'm sure you guys do also, you see everybody talking about it, is how much he uses that as motivation. He gets snubbed left and right. He didn't obviously get nominated for an All-Star. Rookie of the Year last year. Obviously, we saw what happened with that. So, he just takes it, and you see the fire that he comes, and the growth that he shows has been unbelievable. I mean, he hasn't even had one full, complete season yet. And the growth that we've seen from him alone through these games is it's just incredible. I mean, obviously last night hit 6 from 6.
Hasn't even missed one game so far, which is
that's another thing. I mean, how durable is that?
He's a young Iron Man. And the thing is, he came in at 19 years old. He's already stronger than most of the league. Like the way he is able to bully dudes that is his size. He plays shooting guard, small forward, wherever you want to cover it. Beal cries every time RJ got him into the paint.
Even the other night when he was going at Kyrie, he was going at Kyrie. They were laughing back and forth about it because he knows he's giving him a good run for his money.
Yeah, I don't really say Kyrie's not a dude that plays defense a lot. So honestly, kind of fuck that dude. He's definitely there to score 35 and not worry about the rest. Angelo, I see it in your face, man. You want me to say the list anyway, though?
Yeah, just give me the list. I gotta hear. I just let me be said once again.
Okay. Numero uno. If you disagree with any of this just from like a basketball fan, let me know. Like outside of RJ. Number one, Luka. Number 2, Zion. 3, LaMelo. I feel like that would be the first thing people would really disagree on. LaMelo's over Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, DeAndre Fox. De'Aaron Fox is also too high.
Order, Joe? Is this an order or is this just?
This is order 1 through 25. It's Luka, Zion, LaMelo, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, De'Aaron Fox, Ben Simmons, Devin Booker, Bam Adebayo, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Hold on a sec. Time out. How the fuck is LaMelo Ball that high over Devin Booker, De'Aaron Fox?
That's all you need to see,
Like that's fucking wild.
It's like they're saying potential. I mean, Devin Booker's like already there, no? But I don't know. He's higher. I don't know. I don't understand. You got to tell him about the list, that there's 3 lists, though, Joe.
There are 3 lists. So let me finish up this one. So number 11 is Brandon Ingram. 12, Jaylen Brown, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., John Morant, Trae Young, Mikal Bridges, Domantas Sabonis, Anthony Edwards, DeAndre Ayton, Tyrese Halliburton, John Collins, Jared Allen, who is another one. How the holy hell is Jared Allen on this list and not RJ or even Tyler Hero? What the hell does Jared Allen do outside of try to block everything and then not do much else? Am I missing something here?
Like I said to you, Joe, I think RJ is one of the most, just forget about, his age. I just think he's one of the most disrespected players in the league altogether. And I'm just going to break it to you down as simple as this. If you just didn't say his name and you just said that there's a 20-year-old in the NBA that's averaging 17 and a half, shooting 45%, which is not that phenomenal as a two guard. He's shooting 38% from three, 6 rebounds a game, 3 assists. I don't know what he's shooting from the field, 45% from three.
I got it in front of me. He's shooting from the field 46% from the field. No, wait, that's where am I looking? He's shooting 45% from the field, 38% from three, 73% from the line.
Say that those stats to any kind of basketball person, anybody who enjoys watching a game that knows a little bit about numbers, you would think he's a pretty decent player. Now, if you say it's RJ Barrett, it's like, it doesn't fucking matter. Who gives a fuck? Do you
guys want to hear? Do you guys want to hear how good he's actually shooting from three over the last 6 games, which we're fucking 1-5 in?
Sure. I love these numbers.
He's shooting fucking 61% from three in the last 6 games.
Yep.
That's insane.
Shout out Drew Hanlon, his trainer. He's been putting in the work with him.
Yep.
I remember at the beginning of the year, they were saying, obviously, when he was going through that bad 3-point stretch, he was having a rough time. They weren't sure.
Started out like 0 for 16 or something.
It was a bad stretch.
Whatever it was. And I remember everybody was coming for Drew Hanlon's head, and he said he changed his shot. I don't know if it was his mechanics, his release point, whatever it was, and he said it's going to take time. And whatever time that has passed has paid off, and obviously he's looking good.
Do you think that this 25 list has to do with his productivity beginning of the year? They're looking at the overview of the season because he wasn't playing how he is now early.
I was going to say just real quick, the last 2, because Jared Allen was 23, Lonzo Ball was 24, and Colin Sexton was 25. Ben, to answer your question though, I do feel like they're taking into account like where the team is as a whole. Like it's kind of a good story. He's the second best player on a team that's like definitely overachieving, but they still like his shooting splits. If you don't watch the Knicks day in and day out, and for what it's worth, if I wasn't a Knicks fan, like you're not turning on League Pass to watch 91-89. You're turning on League Pass to watch like the Charlotte Hornets put up 120 or the Brooklyn Nets put up 130 and not play defense.
Right. Denver Nuggets.
The Denver Nuggets for sure, especially now with Aaron Gordon. That's crazy. Danny, did you see the list prior? You saw the list prior to this. You said, do you have ESPN Insider by chance?
I do not. I do not.
So just so you know, the list was actually from 3 dudes. Marks Pelton. It's Marks, Kevin Pelton, and the other dude's name is, I have it written, Schmitz. I don't know Marks or Schmidt's first name, but right. Marks and Schmitz both had RJ on their list. And then Pelton actually had Quickley instead of RJ, which is why RJ is not on there.
Right.
Which, do you know anyone that thinks Quickley is better than RJ as a Knicks fan?
No. You need consistency. You know what I mean? Which is when you hear some of the names that were on the big list, like the one that got the most attention, like the last one even on the list, Colin Sexton. We've watched him now longer than we have RJ, and like we've seen more growth out of RJ in a shorter period of time than we've seen from Colin Sexton, who's had multiple regime, changes and gone through different cycles, different game plans, and had chances to show that he could do something. And he hasn't just been consistent. You know what I mean? Of course, he has spurts where he looks good, but it's the consistency completely across the table, definitely not as much as RJ. I did want to touch on something about Drew Hanlon, because I was listening to a pod earlier this morning that was talking about what exactly they changed in his shooting form. And the one thing that they said was they moved his elbow out a little bit, because as he was coming up, it was kind of blocking his view. And obviously, he's got a pretty decent sized body, you know what I mean? So he was a little stiff and coming up with it tucked in, and it's going to take time. I mean, that's an automatic thing right there. And being so long, it just takes a while to change. So definitely that's what we saw in the season. It's not like we saw that in that mid-season. Obviously they had a lot of time off, but you really saw it more through the season. And now he's, what did he go? 6 of 6 last night from deep. If you go, I think the last 3 games, he's missed, I think, only four from deep. So it's just insane to see that growth, and even from the free throw line. And yeah, there's games where he's not hitting those shots, but last night he hit the foul shots in the clutch. Obviously the 2 3-pointers last night after that turnover. So he's got grit, and you could just tell, he's got that killer instinct, and you don't see that in a lot of people. And to not give him the credit just for that alone, it boggles my mind.
Danny, working off what you just said, the killer instinct thing, actually another topic I wanted to bring up. We can kind of combine the two. How do you feel about the end of the game calls? Because we've obviously been in a lot of close games now. Angelo, what is it? We're 2-5 out of the last games we've played, but we're 2-8 on the year in 1 possession games, which is not good at all. Most of the plays he does is drawn up for Julius Randle, and obviously Julius Randle is our best player, but I don't really think he's our best half-court initiator into like a last-second offense.
Correct.
How would you guys feel about I personally would rather RJ get the ball, Derrick Rose get the ball, IQ get the ball, or if Alec Burks is on fire, Alec Burks get the ball. Not over Julius, but just to have those options out there. They have all 5 of those dudes specifically playing, and then Julius just gets it one-on-one.
Yeah, well, I don't have a problem with Julius being the guy getting the ball, but it seems like more often than not, he wants to be the hero, which I also don't have a problem with. But sometimes there's better shots elsewhere. And, he's a creator. He's had 3 triple-doubles this year, 3 or 4 triple-doubles.
4 now.
4, yeah.
Can't make plays for his team late in a late game. I appreciate him trying to, put the team on his back, but there's other guys out there who can make shots. Alec Burks, Quickley. It doesn't have to always be a forced shot. Even though I thought the next one was a decent look, Joe, off the dribble. I know you're not.
I'm not a fan of a long 2, no matter what the situation. If you're going to take that long of a shot, go for the game winner. Just go for the 3.
Does the long 2 matter to the end of the game? At the end of the game, does it matter where it is, Joe?
If there was 3 seconds left on the clock when he put it up, if you're Julius Randle and you have a smaller dude on you, are you not driving to the paint or trying to at least?
It's tough. Like I said, I think he's a creator. And also, I don't know why late in the game when he catches those last few seconds, why not set one screen? There's been more than enough time in multiple possessions. In these last few games, the stat is 5 of the last 7s are single possession games. I don't know how many of those, have.
We're 2-8 on the year in those situations.
I don't know how many seconds were left in most of those games on average, but I feel like every single time he catches that ball, late game situation, it's literally just dribble, pull up, jump shot instead of maybe running one screen and roll, something off ball, something.
There was the one. It wasn't against the Wolves. I think it was against the Nets the first game. The war where he thought they got fouled, but there was like a dude open in the corner. I forgot if his Burks or Quickley, and it's like that's a better look to have. There was another game where it's like he's trying to force it up, and they're like, I think it was actually last night. Like RJ was kind of like about to be open if they just wait another half second, but I think also was in back of Julius's mind. RJ just dribbled the ball off his foot. Yeah, he made the 3 afterwards, but like I'm going to take over this. So it's just always a tough thing to do overall. Just to have I just don't think I want Julius Randle to be our second best player on our team next year somehow. I don't know how that's a possibility, but I want him to be the second best player on our team, not the best player on our team.
That's a fair point. Absolutely fair point. I think everybody pretty much agrees that we definitely need help. If we could get somebody better than his caliber, obviously we're all welcome to it being, where we are as a team. But even if we don't and we get somebody on his level, the way that we play right now and the way that Tibbs has the team playing with it being such a plug and play, you know what I mean? Whether you pull in Bullock or you swap them out for Burks or you have Rose or you have Quick or, you know what I mean? There's so many interchangeable parts and everybody comes in, even Toppin, the last handful of games, which I know we'll touch on it lately, but in a way is starting to become one of those pieces. And I just wish that Tibbs would kind of look to other guys a little bit more. Frank, Knox, I know are 2 guys that people hate to see on the bench. And I'm starting to feel that they could be, plugged in certain moments, even if it's for a minute, 2 minutes. Those are big minutes. You see certain guys come off the bench and the game totally shifts, certain times in those 1 or 2 minutes. So, it's big. We got to really play a complete 48 minutes.
What do you think it'll take for him to actually just stop playing Elfrid Payne the last 5 minutes of the basketball game? He has to get hurt again.
Honestly, I think if Rose was 100% healthy, I think that he would really lean on Rose 100%. I think Rose would have went right into the starting lineup over Alfred. But I think because Rose, had that injury, somewhat before he came to New York, slight injury. It wasn't nothing crazy. I think it was an ankle or something like that.
Then he got COVID.
Exactly. And so I think if enough time, first of all, if he didn't get COVID, I think by now he would have already been a starter. And if not, I think he would have been. I mean, you're already seeing Tibbs pull Alfred so quick once he sees things like that happen. I mean, after a few of the turnovers last night, Rose came right in for him, So I think that's what it would take. You know what I mean? I think if Rose was 100% healthy, I think that would absolutely be an option for him. But I just think that he can't depend on him yet like that,
Danny, if you were to really pick between, I'll even include Frank if you want to say Frank for any particular reason, but only one point guard to start: Frank, Rose, Quickley, or Payton. Who are you actually picking if you were Tibbs every day?
Rose, definitely Rose.
And then how many minutes are you putting him in the game for?
Straight up, you see, Alfred was averaging before he got hurt, that injury right after his birthday. He was really averaging for the season close to 28 minutes a game. I would love to see him and Rose swap those minutes, and even just divvy up the difference, differently. That's all. Alfred doesn't need all those minutes, and I think he kind of uses him as a security, but we're starting to see the team play at a different level. And I think in a way, I kind of hate to say it, but Payton gets exposed in certain areas. And I understand he brings certain defensive qualities that Tibbs is looking for, but I think lately the team is playing at a different level. And again, they're getting exposed, and it's kind of setting us back. And it's not only him. I mean, RJ had that turnover last night. You see other guys, come up with turnovers at the wrong time. Not hitting key free throws is another area. Rebound, so it's not just that, but of course that's one thing that it's kind of hard to miss.
I want to bring up the rebounding thing real quick. I was talking to Angelo about it all day. Like, as a defensive minded team, like, the point is to play defense and then gang rebound, especially if you're missing like your Mitchell Robinson, Taj Gibson, and Nerlens Noel. Noel can jump as high, but isn't as long and also can't catch for some reason. And then Taj, who basically is as long, is just way older, so he can't rebound as well. Like, they don't gang rebound the way they were at the beginning of the year. Like, we got out rebounded yesterday by 14.
Mm-hmm.
They gave up a plus 24 to Tristan Thompson. Like, is this 2015 or 2021? I didn't even know.
I was thinking the same thing last night. I really was, just watching it, because it gives you flashbacks to when, he was that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. The rebounding, I think, honestly, everybody stepped up for the most part in a big way. Noel, obviously, Taj definitely has. Last night, the last couple of games, we're going up against top teams in the East who have reputations for being big offensively. The Nets, the Celtics, some other guys also. And I think that in certain situations, when we come up in games like this, you got to have Randle, who's obviously getting a ton of minutes, also RJ getting a ton of minutes. They got to kind of help out a little bit. And you saw a little bit of it in the fourth last night. The last couple of minutes, when every possession really counted, RJ definitely came in and helped get the rebounds on one of those shots towards the end. Can't remember which, but Noel didn't get it. RJ ended up, pulling it down. So they got to help out. They definitely got to help out, because you got to keep, you got to lift them up. If Noel and Taj are playing at such high levels, you got to back those guys up.
I would say that actually the one negative to RJ's game in the past couple weeks, he's been showing major improvements, and that 3-pointer, man, I've been loving it the past 40 games. He's over 44%. But it's odd because it's since Mitch went out, which was it was the Heat game. Was it the Bucks game or Heat game that he got hurt?
I think it was the Heat game. I want to say the Heat game.
So since that game, the past 6 games, RJ Barrett, who usually averages 6 rebounds in the year, he's only getting 3.7. And it's we need him to rebound more now, especially he's a small 3, unfortunately, instead of being a big 2 like he usually is. Yep. So it's just we just need to crash the boards more.
100%. And everybody's got to help out. Everybody definitely has to help out. And in my opinion, we've been the last 3 or 4 games. I want to say the last 3 games. We've been playing a completely disciplined game where the games leading up to these last, I want to say 3 games, we weren't playing a completely disciplined game. There was so many runs where we just were sloppy on D, sloppy offensively. And, those are the times that the other teams go on the run and we got to work back in. And, now we're creating, tight games for ourselves to crawl back out of. And those are key moments. You know what I mean? We really got to pay attention to those.
I feel like they haven't looked as like militaristic or like regimented since the All-Star break as like they did prior. I don't know if it's because like the rest of the league actually got to where they're supposed to be. And like, obviously Tibbs like would be the type of coach that would push your guys strong early. If it helped because they did have the 9 months off versus like a lot of the teams are competing with, obviously we're in the bubble, which will help out a little bit. And then the All-Star break just let everyone catch up from like a rest standpoint. But I still just want to blame Elfrid Payton fucking kneeing Julius Randle in the hamstring. Why would you do that, man?
He hasn't been the same since. And it's obvious,
Here's the problem with Tibbs, though. One of my only problems, besides just putting Elfrid Payton anywhere on the court.
Elfrid Payton, I like that. Your fate's in his hands.
He plays his guys such high minutes, and I don't really have a problem with that much, but like we're such a high effort team, and that's why we beat bad teams. But the problem towards late in the game is because Tibbs plays his guys such high minutes early in the games that fucking fucks us up late game effort. Like you see Julius Randle, he's getting gassed. And I'm just worried that even if we get to the playoffs, because Tibbs, he turns it on from game 1 all the way to game however many games we play, 82, I don't even fucking know.
72.
Yeah, 72 a season.
That's not going to translate too well into the playoffs because, everybody else turns it up a notch. And now at that point, if we make it to the playoffs, which I think we will, it's, everybody else's minutes are going to go up, every other team. So we've already been playing our guys, Randle and
in the playoffs, teams usually have an 8 or 9 man rotation. We're already there.
We're already there, plus with high minute usage. So the problem.
You look so scared. Was that your dog barking? I take it. You looked scared. You looked like a chihuahua that was looking at a bigger dog barking at you. Danny, I know you mentioned it before, and also to go with the whole Julius Randle being overworked thing. I'm not an Obi Toppin fan. I'm not gonna say I'm an Obi Toppin fan maybe ever in my Knicks life. I just dealt with Sam Darnold and the Jets for 3 years, and
same.
Waiting till tomorrow can only go so long, and like Obi Toppin doesn't have anywhere near like the instincts or ability that Sam Darnold did coming out of college, but he has looked a little bit better.
Yeah,
averaging 7 points over the last few games. He's actually scored in the past 7 games every single game, so instead of just putting up zeros across the board.
Yeah,
what have you seen? Stretch. What have you seen with his play recently?
I definitely seen a little bit more aggressiveness. You know what I mean? He's looking to drive towards the basket. You're seeing him take the shot. There are, certain instances where he passes up the shot. I saw him do it the other night. Last night we saw him at the end of the game, kind of give up that one-on-one in the post, at the very end of the game, last couple minutes, and he tossed it back out, towards the 3-point line. But he's definitely been playing a little bit more aggressively, and I think it's been working to his benefit. Obviously you're seeing the results. And plus the team as a whole, I think he's kind of finding his fit, you know what I mean? And I'm glad that Tibbs is kind of sprinkling him in here and there and not kind of leaving him out to dry, because we are in the playoff race itself. I think if this was last season, he'd be getting a ton of minutes, which is partly why I think also Knox is kind of riding the bench a bit. Knox got a ton of minutes last year, and it was his rookie year, so understood. So now this year, Toppin's the guy, and it's just the way it goes, But again, I would love to see, Knox get a couple minutes here and there, but Toppin, I'm loving it. We had a nice alley-oop last night. I know he didn't really do as much work as he normally does, but the last couple games before that, he definitely did. I think he had 9 points that game before it. It's just been good to see, because he hasn't been doing much this season. And we all know that he's got Randle in front of him. So it's not like he's got, and Randle playing 40 minutes a game on top of it in front of him. So it's not like he's, had the most opportune time. RJ came in last season and was the man, and he pretty much went right into the starting lineup, and it was like, here you go. So he hasn't had that same benefit. I think what I would love, perfect world, would be for somehow Toppin to figure out a role on that second unit and really become a force to be reckoned with. I think he has, the size. I think he has the aggressiveness. We've seen it. I think he just has to do it more. And I really
should have him set a pick and roll every single time up the court. I don't know why they don't.
Yeah, and I think guys are starting to look for him more because he's been getting a few more lately.
Yeah. Rose is really good with that.
Yeah,
I gotta
but
say,
he definitely is.
That play last night when he passed it out, instead of doing the one-on-one, I'd much rather that than see this guy do any more air balls from the corner. Like that's okay with me. Pass that out.
I agree. I definitely agree. But I feel like where he was standing, I felt like if he was more aware, he definitely would have called if that was Randle there, he's definitely calling for the ball to post up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see Obi do that because he had the size all day over the guy I forget the guy's name, but he was small, you know? And but I understand it. I'm totally about, finding the open guy on the three, especially when we're down, we need the points. So I'm with you there, Vinny.
For sure. I mean, we're a pretty good 3-point shooting team overall. Our numbers show it. Like we just don't put up enough, but we're in the top half of the league, which I would not have thought of at the beginning of the year with Reggie Bullock being our best 3-point shooter. I would have never known that Randle or Barrett would honestly have this in going into the thing.
I feel like it's been since Roses came. For some reason, we've been shooting as a team better, and I don't know if it's because we're picking our spots wiser, but I think it is because they say the games that we don't, and we kind of are forced to shoot, and obviously then we're not knocking them down, So proof's in the pudding.
Listen, I'm ready to put fucking Obi in the rafters after he dunked all over KD. Come on, put him in
Hell
the
yeah,
Angelo, you want to put Norvel Pell in the rafters?
Put him in the rafters too, Joe.
He's got heart, man. He's got heart.
He has heart and broken fingers.
I want Luke Cornett in the rafters.
Oh God! All right, this is going off the haywire.
Not while he's on Boston.
Again, just for all of our listeners, like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Also, like and subscribe to Danny's YouTube. Follow him on Instagram, Twitter. Follow me and Angelo on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Screw Vin. Don't follow him in anything, obviously.
I'm finding you and following you.
That's fine.
I got you, bro.
His name's Modelo Beckham. So
okay,
you can find Modelo Beckham.
I got you.
I was gonna ask Danny B and Angelo because I know me and you disagree, Angelo. Would you rather keep Norvel Pell or John Henson as your third string center on the New York Knickerbockers? This is a real topic we're about to talk about.
As a third string center?
Yeah.
Pell. Because
are you saying that only because of those 3 minutes?
No, I'm saying it because I've seen a lot of his video. He's big on defense, and I think that's kind of why Tibbs grabbed him. He's big blocking. I mean, he's got a huge presence there. And I'll tell you what, the free throws that we saw him shoot the other night, even with the finger, which was on his shooting hand, he still had a nice stroke. And for a big guy, that's what you want. You know what I mean? I love Mitch, but his free throw form is just, I don't know, man. It's just not solid to me,
Mitch is going the wrong way, man. He's about to be the Andre Drummond of free throw shooting again.
I really hope not. I would love to see him, obviously progress. I like Mitch. I definitely do. I think he brings a good energy to the team, a little bit of lightheartedness, which we need with somebody like Tibbs who's driving.
Him and Theo.
But we'll see what happens, Yeah, exactly. But we'll see. I think the guys have stepped up huge. But for them to pick up Pell, first of all, a third string center, I understand somewhat to a degree, but I really think our first need was a shooter.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's almost telling in a way. I don't know if it's because maybe, Noel and Taj are injury prone. I don't know. Maybe that's why he figured.
Just old.
Of course, but he's in great condition, man. He really is.
Better than you or I, that's for sure. He's playing in the NBA.
100%.
50. I'm ready to sign Taj right now until he's 50.
Not Ange though. Ange can beat him one-on-one in his condition now.
Yeah.
Listen, in Pell's sense, I like John Henson. I always liked him on the Bucks.
I like Henson. Don't get me wrong. I like Henson.
The energy he brings.
We have no shooters. I would love a shooting 5. He can make 36% from 3.
I remember towards the end of his Bucks tenure that they were trying to make him transition into that small ball, into the 5 where he stretched the floor a little. That didn't really work out. I mean, I know he shoots a decent percentage from the floor. They just wanted him to put up more numbers. But Pell's a typical Knick, man. Since 2018, he's played on 9 teams. I respect his journey. He's played on a few teams this year. He played on the Nets. He's played on the Kings, and now he's with the Knicks. I mean,
that's the most typical Knick thing ever. That's like just loving mediocrity. I love this guy that can't stay on a team because he's not good enough to stay on a team.
For the underdog, brother. I always for the underdog.
I get that. I can't hate that.
I always appreciate Norvel Pell. Listen, Joe, how many players have besides Kobe Bryant? I don't know how many players have dislocated a finger and came back on the court the same.
Probably fucking hundreds. I don't know. I don't have a list.
I don't know. I
Mark
mean,
Stoudemire punched the fire extinguisher, missed the playoffs. This guy fucking breaks his fingers. He's making free throws.
I'm
Yeah,
probably Stoudemire
exactly.
cut
I
major
mean, how can you
ligaments
not
in his
love that?
hand. He went to the hospital.
Dude, I couldn't believe that. I was so pissed. Like, come on, man.
If that's not being a Knicks, Mets, or Jets fan, then I don't know.
And what was his contract? Didn't he get like 100 million? Like, he got big bucks.
We were the only team that offered him a max with insurance, like with the insurance.
He
like,
came home and
warranty.
retired with us. Mark Stoudemire, favorite player of all time. Love him.
Let's get everybody that we're still paying into one room. I know Joakim Noah will definitely be there.
Dude, I was saying to them, I was like, we're still paying Joakim. Come give us those fucking minutes, bro. We need a backup center.
Oh my god, that dude is hooking up. That dude's hooking up with strippers in like Costa Rica or something.
No,
We're
He's
never
living
gonna
his
see
best
Joakim
life.
Noah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why
Noah's
not?
basically playing with the Knicks right now for free.
What did you say?
I said Noah should be basically on the bench for free this year after what he
100%. Why not?
robbed us of.
Because I wouldn't want that because it's not like he's Udonis Haslam where it's like he's like coaching the team, he's like helping out, giving tips and stuff.
Right.
He's literally just sitting there on his phone, like scrolling through the next stripper or prostitute he's gonna hook up.
Bro, I never want to see his free throw shot in the NBA ever again.
Oh my god, I remember that for him, man. Like the second you just said that, it just pulled the memory right back in my head.
Spun the ball. Like
Oh, gross.
it
Gross.
is
put
disgusting.
Norvel Pell on the rafters. Give
All
him
right.
the-
Well, anyway, I want John Henson because we already have like 8,500 people on that play defense on our team, and we have like 3 that can play offense. And John Henson plays offense, and Norvel Pell, like Mitch, like Taj, like Nerlens. At least Mitch is better on offense because of his shooting percentage and him just being bigger than everyone else. But
Oh, rebounds are huge.
Nerlens, yes, rebounds. Taj, Nerlens, they're all the same dude. Let's get John Henson. He's another bald man. I'm all about it.
I'm with it. You said bald. I can't deny that.
Exactly.
We're riding the bald train this day. So.
Angela, I'm just
But
gonna.
I get it.
Danny, you're gonna say something else? You can keep going.
No. I was just gonna say I get where you're coming from. That's all.
I was gonna
It
say,
makes
Ange,
sense.
we're sticking with bald guests only. This is gonna be a thing. Finn, also, you can never show your face on camera again unless it's after you shave your head immediately.
If I didn't want to edit this, I totally would fucking make it pop up right now.
Oh my god.
That's funny.
If you could ever get off or get on the wagon, I don't know how you're supposed to say it, but you'll be able to edit videos again one day. Ange, there was like one more topic. What'd you say?
I was gonna say off-topic question because this is funny.
Go ahead.
How often do you shave your head?
Twice a week.
Okay.
every
Ange
day.
does it every day.
Every day.
I do too. You gotta stay fresh.
Get with the program.
100%, dude. I got the lines bad, so if I don't keep up with it, I look like that old guy that's just walking by, like with the line.
Can
I'm
we
not
get
giving
all
that
you
up
with
yet.
your heads out real quick? Because I want YouTube to comment who's got the better bald.
I got a shower, so my shit's not as clean as it should be.
I have the best smile, man. I don't even care.
You all look
That's
the
cool.
fucking same.
I got the best
Oh,
mustache.
that's funny.
Ange, no one is gonna fight you over that best mustache. Let
That's
me tell you.
okay. I'm
Nope.
undisputed mustache champ.
I'll let you know if
I like it,
Michael
man. It's
Jordan
spicy.
or Ron Jeremy want the title back from you, but I don't think they do.
Oh yeah, Joe.
I haven't heard that name in so long.
Ron Jeremy. It'd be funnier if you met Michael Jordan.
100%.
Ange, what were you gonna say?
I wanted to speak upon Randle. Just about could he be getting gassed? I mean, we know. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
That reminded me. I actually wrote this before that it seems like his bruised thigh still isn't at 100%. I feel like he's not effectively charging into the lane like he has before, which we were already touched upon. He could honestly benefit from having a full week off, but with how important it is, he is to our team and where we are in the race for the playoffs right now, the play-in game, like we get free for all the 10th really quickly with our schedule still being pretty hard. It's not like it gets much easier. Like Memphis and Toronto are quote unquote easy games this week, and they don't sound that easy.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I was gonna give one of 3 options, and then if you want to say it's like more the one than the other, or like percentage wise, do you think it's because teams are starting to figure out how to cover Randle? Do you think it's still that he's still hurt, or do you think it's that Tibbs is actually like overwearing him? It's at this time of the year where Tibbs's players usually falter. If you were to name those 3 things, what's contributing the most to him starting to falter a little bit?
I mean, I think it's a combination of minutes And I think his injury, I think he's having a hard time. It seems like he's missing a pop. He's missing like that extra gear, towards the end of the games. You just, not that he's wincing, he's still playing. He's still he's still playing with high effort. But
he's already not the most athletic dude. It just shows.
He's just missing that. Over his last 4 games, he's shooting 38%. I mean, that's not his normal clip. I mean, and I told you, Joey, but that game against the Nets, I mean, after that game, after he missed that shot, that was the first time all year that I looked at Randle and I said, this fucking dude's gassed. He's fucking tired. And, he's just, maybe he needs a little help. And, the help's got to come from within. I obviously know that because obviously there's no more moves to be made this year. But,
right.
it seemed like, fuck, this is what I got to go up against every single night. Besides going against Kevin Durant, he's got to put up big numbers every night at a high.
Then you go against Tatum and Brown right afterwards. It's just not easy.
I sense a little frustration, and I don't think it leads over into the next day. I think he understands that there's a goal at hand, and obviously he knows that this isn't the team that next year we could have a completely different team. And I think he knows that. So, I think he sees the grand scheme of things, but in the moment right now, I just, I see his body language a little bit at the end of the games. He just seems a little down, tired. And like I said, I think that's bothering him a little.
Danny, before you go, I was just a couple stats real quick. Randle's year-to-date field goal percentage is 46%. His year-to-date three-point percentage is 40.7. The last 6 games, which we're 1-5 in, he's only shooting 41% from the field. So it's like almost 5% off. And then his 3-point percentage is 8% lower. It's at 32 versus 40.
Right.
Yeah,
no, absolutely. I definitely do. Honestly, I've thought about this a lot the last couple of days. The injury definitely didn't help whatsoever. I think that his body trying to overcome that injury really and keep playing at the level he needs to, on top of the minutes that he's normally playing. I think it's definitely a combination of the two. I'm not really big on the whole Tibbs, overplaying guys and all that stuff, because I just think that guys always have played 35 minutes in the games, and it is what it is. That's what they train to do. You saw the shape that Randle came back in, in the beginning of the season. He stayed in that shape throughout the season. And I just think that that's what they do. You hear all these rumors that they don't practice too much and they don't practice too hard. So that definitely helps. So all that in mind, analyzing the situation, I 100% agree with Angelo. I definitely think that it's a combination of the two. I don't, without the injury, the minutes are not an issue. But because of the minutes and the injury, it's just the combination that's not helping whatsoever. So I think he's trying to play through it. A week off definitely would help, even just an extra day. If you look at the schedule the next 2 weeks, we don't have 2 days off in a row until April 22nd. So he's playing every other day. Yeah, and we're playing high competition every other day for the next 2 weeks. So he definitely needs a couple of days off just to get his body some rest. I mean, everybody needs rest. You hear LeBron talking about that all the time. Sleep is huge.
Yeah.
Huge,
Julius needs to put a hydroponic chamber in his house right now if he doesn't have one already.
100%.
$100 I don't know if that's going to help.
What did you say?
I got $100 towards that chamber.
Yeah, that's probably like 1/100th of the chamber.
Well, we got 2 because I'm definitely throwing 100 in there.
We got 3 then. We're 3% of the way there.
You got it. Vinny, you in?
I'm in.
All right, we're 4.
Let's go. Also, we're going to give him our Knicks tickets so we can get more money off of it.
I'm in.
All 4 of us got to go to a game when Angelo's back is feeling better.
Definitely, man.
I'm totally down. I was gonna say
I can't wait to get back.
I'm out of topics, guys. Do you guys want to touch on anything else before we close this out? I feel like this is pretty good.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything. The only thing that I would ask you guys, right, is just to throw another topic out there. Obviously, the majority of Knicks fans want to see Lonzo Ball in the Knicks uniform next season, right? Say it doesn't happen. What would you see as the next best option?
Kyle Lowry. Throw like 60 million at him for 2 years. I know he's 35 years old, but like Kyle Lowry.
I'm so out on Kyle Lowry because we almost got him for a bag of potato chips a couple years back. We almost got him for Iman Shumpert.
That was
so
9 years ago.
For me, it's like 9 years ago. His age is showing. I don't want to older.
2000. That was 2012, man.
I'm good on him. He's old, especially. I mean, we wanted him 9 years ago. we're looking at young guys now. We're gonna talk about Kyle Lowry at the end of his career. Why would you want to pick up Kyle Lowry?
Because he's still like a top 10 point guard in the NBA. And
We pretty much
worst
have
point
him
guard in
in
the
Derrick
NBA.
Rose. It's like he's inevitably going to become that.
No shot.
Yeah, Derrick Rose has been looking good. I think if he could just get to a place where even if he had that ankle injury and came back, you see how he's playing now. I think without the COVID, I think we would have a little bit more of a steady Rose. We could rely on him a little bit more. But I understand it's not like we have him for the next 4 years. You know what I mean? His time's limited.
Yeah.
You gotta
Danny, I
figure
was
something
actually
out.
in a real perfect world where it doesn't seem that perfect because it means the Knicks tank this year. But in a real perfect world, we end up with Cade Cunningham or Jalen Suggs somehow. And that's our point guard for the next 10 years. But
100%.
for the first time in like 4 years, we're actually doing even mediocre, which is amazing to watch. But it's like I literally was like looking at the draft going into the year. I was like, oh, we might get Cade Cunningham. This is great. I've been hearing about this dude since he was like a sophomore in high school. This is going to be awesome. Yeah. And then we're good. We're good enough to not get him. And I'm like, damn it. I want to make the playoffs, but like Cade Cunningham sounds amazing.
It's so tough, you know what I mean? Because we lived it every single year, you know what I mean? Of looking at that. But as you started saying that, the first thing that popped in my head was we were in that position 2 years ago when we ended up drafting RJ. You know what I mean? We didn't get the number. We were in that
1 and 2 were so far above 3.
Right.
Everyone's thing.
Yep. And I mean, that's what we had the opportunity to get the number 1. We didn't get it. So it's like, I mean, how many times can we do that? You know what I mean? We got to really, and we finally hit on something. So we might as well hold on to it and keep going. I think we have assets. If we could somehow try to work it and get somebody, it's a deep draft, you know? So I think no matter who we end up getting, if it's a lottery pick and we do our research, I think it'll definitely benefit the team. You know, obviously look what we got in Quickley at 25.
Yeah.
Toppin, obviously, you know what we could do with him. You could look to, trade him somewhere or even just keep him and try to develop him. Like I said, perfect world would, be finding a nice click on the second unit. So who knows? Maybe they try to do that too, and then look, if it doesn't work out by trade deadline next year or the end of the season next year, they kind of think something else. But I don't know. I think he'll stick around. You see how long we hang on to our rookies for,
I mean, we didn't trade Kevin Knox, which seems kind of amazing at this point that we don't play him or Ntilikina.
Ntilikina, dude, the trade deadline champion.
Yeah, every single year. And if we don't get Lonzo, who would you want in the offseason?
I wouldn't mind Kyle Lowry, but I'm also want to hold. I want to reserve. We don't know what's going to happen with Chris Paul. I mean, I know the Suns are having a great year, and he has a huge player option. I believe it's like 36 mil. And I read today or yesterday that he might decline that player option.
Whatever you're doing is terrible for audio.
Great, whatever. I don't know. I don't know if we should, reserve and wait for Chris Paul, or should we look and wait for Kyle Lowry? I mean, if we don't get Lonzo Ball, man, I'm going to be a little upset,
Ben, what do you think about that? Because Chris Paul is just as old as Kyle Lowry. That doesn't sound like a better idea in your head, I would imagine.
I like what Chris Paul's been doing with young guys. So to me, that's not the worst idea.
But Lowry does the same thing.
Joe, if the Knicks had Chris Paul this year, because we had an option to get him this past summer, we didn't.
Yeah.
What would our record be right now? How many games better would we be right now?
Like 6 or 7. We'd be the 4 seed easy. We'd be competing with the Bucks for the 3.
Mike Conley is available also.
Think about what Chris Paul could do for RJ Barrett and Quickley. Not that Derrick Rose
100%.
out either, but Chris Paul's a little more substantially. You see he can make his players way better around him.
It's really just imagine any of these dudes taking the 25 minutes that Elfrid Payton gets, and our team is significantly better.
That's what I'm saying.
Mike Conley is available. I would look at him too.
Yeah,
I would look at him. Why not? You got to do your due diligence and look at everybody. You know what I mean? And kind of plug everybody that you're looking into that's out there into the system. You have to try to think ahead like that. I'm sure they are.
A hot take: Gordon Dragic. I think he'd be all right in the Knicks as well. I know he's getting up there in age, but he's a good facilitator.
He's younger than the other dudes we were talking about. I think he's like 33.
Yeah, but see him, JJ Redick, same thing to me. I just don't think that he's leaving. I think that he kind of enjoys where he's at.
Yeah.
He's only making 18 mil.
Have you guys ever been to Miami before? I wouldn't want to leave either.
Joe, I want to retouch on something we were talking about in a previous pod. We were talking about giving Lonzo Ball 20 mil, and how you said you'd be happy around 18.
Yeah.
Now,
I said I wanted to do 15, but I would expect 18.
Goran Dragic gets 18. Is Goran?
Right.
Do you think Goran Dragic is worth more than Lonzo Ball?
I think when Goran Dragic got the contract and from his past performance of him leading teams, he was worth more than Lonzo Ball. Now,
So
going in
what
the
I'm getting
opposite
to
direction,
is if Goran Dragic could get that, Lonzo, I think, has a higher ceiling than Goran did. I think he's well worth 20 million a year. To me personally,
there's
we
a
have the
chance
money.
someone's going to offer Lonzo a max contract at the end of the year, honestly.
It ain't going to be the Pelicans.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And based on how our spending habits are, it might not be us either, but someone's probably going to do it.
I think we will. If we have the opportunity to do it, I think we'd overspend to do it. I also think that as a collective, we kind of look at money as we normally would, as if it was our money in a way, and what's worth it. But in the reality, the money that's in the NBA is, you know what I mean? It keeps ballooning. So it's really worth more. Like you just hit on, like when Goran Dragic got paid, where the money was at was different, from where it is now.
Million then might be like 23 now.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying is the value changes. So we have to look at that also, so where you're saying you'd be comfortable with 18, I totally would too. But then if we're at 18, why not do 19, 20? You know what I mean? We're already there anyway, I don't know.
I get that.
It's just a different way to think of it, and I don't know, maybe I put too much weight on it, but I don't know, something to think about.
If any one of us become salary cap gurus out of this would be the best podcast of all time, honestly.
I definitely am not, that's for sure.
If it was my money.
I hate man.
If it was my money, because I'm a cheap guinea, I re-sign Alpha Payne for the vet minimum. Sorry, guys.
If we do,
It's
man,
all
I'm going to be so disappointed. The only thing I'm going to say is we did wait and tried to see what was out there. And obviously we couldn't get nothing because we signed him late. You know what I mean? So that's the only plus about it is you could tell that they were looking for other options.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that basically covers everything that we wanted to cover. I feel like the Lonzo Ball thing is always a welcome topic that we as Knicks fans love to talk about because we all want Lonzo Ball here.
Yeah, well,
absolutely.
Ball.
I want to see LeVar Ball on first week every Monday for entertainment purposes.
That is an entirely different thing than us trying to win basketball games. That's for sure. Danny, before we let you go, anything you want to plug?
Just the Danny B morning drives, follow me on Twitter, Dan_NY_B, Instagram, same thing. My YouTube link, it's crazy long and I can't name it myself. So the link's on both profile pages. And that's really it. I appreciate everybody that's checking in, you guys as well for having me. Always a pleasure. Had a great conversation. I look to do it again, hopefully in the near future.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, man. We'll love to have you on again. That's for sure.
Definitely. All you guys are genuine dudes. I appreciate the convo for sure. Enjoy the rest of the night. I'm sure I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you, man. You too. Before you go, like and subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. Make sure we get our subscribers to 100. We're doing a New York Knicks ticket giveaway for that. Comment after we get to 100. And then Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Follow me and Angelo. Ben will post all the things. Another episode of BK Podcast in the books. See y'all next week. Peace.
Later.